When you commit for the first time, you get something like house arrest, or you get something like, you have to serve community hours, or you have to be reporting your, like actions and movements to the police. So some of these crimes that you may commit would be like a sexual assault. So imagine that someone can sexually assault someone in the street, and if they get caught, then all they have to do is, do some counseling or do some serving, like in the community, some service hours, and this person can get away with this crime and still be free on our streets and still pose a threat and danger to our, youth. And the sister that was covering her face should be, confined to 2 full years in prison and 27,000 euros. So for me, I always prayed for these sisters. I always felt very, very sad for them. I always prayed for them. I never forgot them. And whatever I could do, I always did, like, writing letters to our MPs, writing letters to ministers, signing petitions, whatever I could do here for sisters and friends, I would do. And I always felt deep inside that I was so lucky to live in Canada, because I had all the freedom that I, would always wish for in order to be able to dress the way I like and practice my religion. And at the same time, I can be a Muslim Canadian loyal citizen. But unfortunately, now things are turning around. It's not the same anymore. Before, Canada people were large-hearted, they were tolerant, they were sympathetic, they were, very accommodating, and now things are turning around. It's not the same anymore. So a few years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, the first shock was the Bill 94 that most of you heard of. And I call this bill the Draconian Hate Bill 94. And this bill was written by the Quebecois, and these are a minority in North America, and I don't know why they give themselves the right to crush another minority. So how many sisters in Quebec would be wearing niqab? 100 sisters, for instance? 50? 150? It's not more than that. We all know that the sisters wearing niqab in a country or in a city like Quebec would be, a small number. So what kind of security threat are they imposing on the community there? So it looks to me like officials are creating a problem, out of nothing. And definitely when you create a problem, you have to create a solution. So you hear many things like a security threat. This is one of the main argument points. We all know that a security threat has to involve a weapon. Have you ever heard of someone that was able to rob someone or rob a bank or commit a crime without, the threat of a weapon? We never heard a Niqabi sister going into the bank and being able to steal, money. But we've always heard of people that, have a weapon, they scare whoever they threat, and then they get the money and they run away with it. So we've also heard so many times about the shooting rampages that take place in universities. We've heard so many about that. Some students that are troubled, or they have maybe sometimes they call them homesick. They come in with their backpacks. Weapons are in the backpack. They go on a shooting rampage, and then many people die. So you cannot keep a weapon under the face cover, right? You always have to keep it in your backpack or in your pocket. So there's no relationship. But unfortunately, the officials are, as I said, creating a problem, and when you create a problem, then you have to create the solution. So the problem with this Bill 94 was, it was so frustrating to me, because all of a sudden now the government is telling me, what to wear and what not to wear. So we were criticizing Taliban, for instance, in Afghanistan, because they forced women to cover up. So what is the difference between that government and our government right now that is asking us to uncover? It is the same issue. There we say they make the women covered. Here they're making the women uncovered. This is, as I said again, it's a relationship between myself and my Creator. It has nothing to do with me not abiding by the law, with me not becoming loyal to Canada or as a Muslim Canadian citizen, or with me, running away from someone. It has nothing to do with my husband, has nothing to do with any male in my family. Nobody forced me to wear it. This is a decision that, you know, we make on our own, and it has nothing to do with anyone. So this was the bill. Now, the Harper government has taken a 180-degree turn on the niqab, and in 2009, I will quote what the Prime Minister said. He said, in an open and democratic society like Canada, individuals are free to make their own decisions regarding their personal apparel and to adhere to their own customs or traditions of their faith and belief. So this is a quote from the Prime Minister office in 2009. Now, after this came the bill, 94. We've been hearing about the bill. Now, last month, Mr. Kenny, our citizenship and multiculturalism and immigration minister, has come up with a new attack. It's a new story now that says that women that want to come immigrate and take the oath, they have to uncover their face because an unknown number of unnamed judges have complained to him and said that they cannot hear the oath from these women. So I want you to Google this citizenship oath room and just take a look at one of the images. It's a very small room. It's crammed with people. And even if the judge is standing up, you can never, ever, ever see all of these people, you know, speak. And if they're speaking, you don't know what they're saying. And lots of them are new immigrants and they still don't know English. And some of them can just be moving their lips. And some of them can cross their fingers behind their backs. There's no guarantee that all of these people are saying the oath, right? And saying it properly the way you would want them to say it. So, niqabi women can be accommodated in this oath. It's very, very simple. Like I live here, I drive, I have a license, I vote, and I travel all the time, and I ask for a female police officer to identify my identity with my photo. So it is accommodated. Can't we accommodate these niqabi women in these oaths by providing them with a mic like the one that's next to me if we cannot hear them, or providing them with a female judge to listen to them if we'd like to see them? We can, right? So again, we're creating a problem. There's no problem. We're creating a problem, but this time we're not creating any solutions to it. So Mr. Kenny was, let me quote from him. He said, "We are all coming together as Canadians in a public ceremony. And if you don't like it, or if you feel uncomfortable, then maybe you chose the wrong country in the wrong place." And then he says, "I'm sure they'll trump up some stupid Charter of Rights challenge." So imagine this is our Minister of Multiculturalism saying these words. We will trump up some stupid Charter of Rights challenge. Now, Mr. Kenny talks about identifying oneness and openness as Canadian values. So does Mr. Kenny see that when I trample upon the right to express religion and the freedom to express religion, are these Canadian values that he's talking about? He says he wants identification for openness and equality, etc. When you trample on my right to express my religion, is this a Canadian value? Moreover, he continues to say that we remove this face cover when we perform our Hajj, which is the fifth pillar of Islam. So is Mr. Kenny qualified now to give me Islamic rulings? Another thing that I'd like to mention is that the Canadian government has been campaigning for establishing the Office of Religious Freedom within the Department of Foreign Affairs. And that doesn't mean that that is not promoting religion, but it's just promoting respectfulness to people that choose to express the religion in their different ways. So how are they campaigning for the Office of Religious Freedom, and at the same time they are trampling upon the rights of Muslim women here in Canada? Now, at the end, as I come to the end of my talk, I'm just going to mention a quote from a letter sent from the United Church of Canada in Winnipeg to the minister, Mr. Kenny. Just the last line of their letter. They said, please undertake to find a solution to this issue which will meet the needs of your department and respect the values and needs of all Muslim women. So these are the members of the church sending to this minister, asking them to respect the values of Muslim women here in Canada. Now, if we were to take one thing from this talk today, I would just ask all of you to stand for injustice that is done around you. It doesn't mean if you don't wear niqab, or if you don't wear hijab, or even if you're not a Muslim, it does not mean that you do not stand up for this injustice that is happening. Because you don't know what's going to happen in the following days, in the following years. People in authority, they change, other people come, new ideas come. You don't know what's going to come next. So it should be, as these friends from the church, why are they sending this letter to the minister? Because they're standing up for injustice, although they're not Muslim. So together today, this is the message that I want you to leave you with, that stand up for injustice. Stand up for injustice around you, whether it has to do personally and closely with you or not. Because you never know what's going to happen next. Maybe in a few years, you're in a situation, lots of injustice is there, and you would like to see all the people around you standing, with you and supporting you in your cause. So thank you very much for listening to me today.